Welcome back to Homa Studio. This is part 2 of our Turtle Square CMYK. This one will actually be using RGB, and it's going to be using smaller squares, but we're going to use the same code. So we're just picking up where we left off, but we're going to need one more argument and one more parameter, and we're going to have to get rid of this one forward 100 because we're going to make smaller ones that are like 50. So we're going to get rid of this, and we're just going to put, I'll put D for distance. So we'll put D in there, and then up here we'll put D. And then what we're going to have to do is put a value that actually represents the D here. Now these were all 100, so we could just go in here and put 100 for all of these, and then it should just be the same thing. It shouldn't be any different. And we're putting commas in between here. You don't have to put spaces in there with the commas, so let's run it. It should look exactly the same. And it does. So everything's the same, but now it's set up to make some more squares, except using a different size. So we're kind of adding another variable because we're going to vary the size of it. Get it? Variable, vary the size. So we're going to do 4 more here. And what we can do here is just copy all 4, hit enter, and I'll just separate them so they are a little bit different. And then we're going to do red, we're going to do green and blue, and then we'll do gray. And I guess I'll just do, I'm not sure if just gray will work as a word. I might. I'll put gray in here, see if it works as a word. If not, you can use hex. You could do something like £sign and use CC, CC, CC. You could do something like that, but we'll try with gray and see what kind of gray it comes up with. We could always make it lighter or darker if we don't like the gray, but I think that that's one of the HTML colors, so that should work like that. Now, these things are all going to change because the X and Y's are going to change and the sizes. Now, these are all going to be 50, so we could even change the size right here. Make these all 50. So they're all going to be 50 now. And let's just run and see what happens. There's our first 4. And there's our second one. And that's actually what we want. That gray's not bad. And if you wanted to do something like that, you're done. But what we'll do is we're going to move these over. So we're just going to adjust the positions of where they start. So what's nice here is we didn't have to do a lot of work to draw 4 more squares. We just have to change their position. And what's nice here is we can look at this and say, okay, where's it going to start? So for the red one, it's going to start not at 0. We're going to be halfway down. So we're going to have to go minus 25 to move down. So it's halfway because it's 50. Remember, we're using 50. Each side is 50. So we're going to go down halfway. And then we're also going to start it over here at 100. So let's see how the red one works. We're going to do X and we're going to do 100 instead of 0. And for its Y, we're going to drop it down minus 25. And let's just run this just to see how the red one works. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. The red is where we want it. Now we just have to change the green. It's going to be up 100, so the Y is going to be 100 for the green. So I'll just put 100 here. And the X is going to be minus 25. So we'll put minus 25 just like the others. And while we're at it, if we think of where the blue is going to be, the blue is going to be up here. We want to move the green up here to the top. The blue is going to be over here. So it's going to be like the opposite of the red. So if the red is negative 25 for the Y, so is the blue. So we'll put negative 25 for the Y. Except the X, you might just look at it and say, oh, the X should be negative 100. Except that would start it right here. We have to move it an extra 50. So it's going to be negative 150. So it has the length built in to that as well. So the blue is going to be at 150. And let's try it out. And here comes the red. There it is. There's the green. There's the blue. Looks perfect. We just have to move the gray down and then we'll be done. So the Y is going to be down. Right now it's starting at a negative 100. We have to move it down 50 more. So we're just going to have to add 50 to this. And then it's not going to start at 0. It's going to start at negative 25. Just like the green. And when we run this, then we should have them all around. And you could try all kinds of things. You could try doing circles. They have a circle method, so you don't have to do this loop and the forward and left and all that. But that's all we want to do with this. We're actually done with this. So that's our little example of using 8 function calls. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 arguments. And then we also have to have 4 parameters up here. And these are basically kind of defining local variables. It's basically saying D equals 100, D equals 50, whatever. And then whatever that value it gets, it's sending it along into these areas. So you have to make sure that these variable letters in here match up. You can use letters, you could use names. I just thought it would be easier to use letters. So we have C, we have X, we have Y, we have D. If something's missing, if you don't have it in there, it's not going to work. So that's what we're doing there. And again, we're using variables in here and also as parameters so that our squares can be variable because we're changing the size, the color, the position. If you changed anything else, we could change that. If you had the rotation change, anything like that, we could do that as well. So that's Turtle, CMYK, and RGB as part of the Turtle Graphics playlist for Homa Studio. Thanks for checking it out.